Back at Angel Stadium, there's the unicorn. Shohei Ohtani is headed to the mound to start things off here tonight. Game 2 of this 3-game series against the Washington Nationals. Gooby, the ace of the staff, ready to be on the home mound for the first time this year.
And after a loss, he was so incredible over the last couple of seasons how he goes out and performs, especially in this ballpark. That routine he has going down to the bullpen and then come right in that dugout and onto the mound has been outstanding.
I asked Ippei how to say starting pitcher in Japanese. He said it is Senpatsu Toshu, starting pitcher.
Love it.
The more you know.
The more you know. And my go-tos for Shohei to continue as a dominant pitcher on this mound at the Big A. It's be creative with that sweeper. We know he can. Both sides of the plate takes a little bit more off for that horizontal break and then pitch backwards with his fastball. When they're sitting off speed, that's when you throw that fastball. You get swing and misses even in zone with that 4-seam and even 2-seam fastball for Shohei.
Washington with their lineup, a lot of soft base hits in the game yesterday. They've got Dominic Smith batting third, a left-handed batter today. Joey Meneses, their cleanup batter. Lane Thomas shoots down to the 6th spot in the Washington order. Victor Robles off to a great start. He's hitting 9th, and Davey Martinez, the World Series winning manager in 2019, is back in the Washington dugout today. A little under the weather yesterday. He's good to go for tonight's game against the Angels.
And the defense behind Shohei Ohtani, led by Logan O'Hoppe, the rookie who's worked so well with Shohei. Out in the outfield, you have Ward, Trout, and Renfroe, and in the infield, Rendon, Urshela, and Hifo, Lamb, but all started the captain behind the plate, that Logan O'Hoppe. Hell, he's handled Shohei so well.
Anthony Rendon not in there yesterday after getting hit on the shoulder Sunday. Really didn't want to miss last night's game. Definitely didn't want to miss tonight, so he's back in there. As Shohei's on the mound in the first pitch, it's a breaking ball strike to start it off at Angel Stadium.
Goes him an 81-mile-an-hour sweeper. The creative one already creating some little bit more horizontal break and a little bit slower on the first pitch.
So many sweepers early on from Shohei. He's thrown in more, roughly half the time to begin the season. We saw it in Seattle. Even though he didn't have a feel for it early, he just stayed with it. He made it good in the middle innings.
That's a great fastball. You know, the Nationals are on the road have hit much better. In 317 as a team, 233 at home. So they've been making some pretty good contact on the road.
Only 4 home games so far for the Nationals. It's been a bit of a long road trip for them. They started in Colorado, had a 4-game series there. And now here in Southern California against the Angels. Ohtani ahead of Alex Call. He's going to wait him out. Call didn't chase.
That was a little harder sweeper on that one. He went 81, not 87. Don't close your eyes and blink too much, because these two behind the plate and at the batter's box, they almost look exactly alike. O'Hoppe and Call.
A little similarity there. I see it. Just don't call him O'Hoppe.
That will not happen.
Alex Call was in the Cleveland organization at one time.
Ooh, that's gotten that inside part of the plate, not called. That run action, it was supposed to be away, but still caught the plate, not called. Sometimes, but especially with the movement that Ohtani has, you have to stick with it now as a home plate umpire.
A full count. And there's ball 4. Ohtani walks the first batter that he faces here tonight. It's a leadoff walk to Call.
Hyundai key for the game. We're going a little foreigner today. Feels like the first time out, the Big A for Shohei Ohtani. The energy he creates, they even warm up in the bullpen, and what he does brings to that mound.
Yeah, we had to go see him live. We couldn't just wait for the first pitch here in the booth. We had to go watch the bullpen.
That was awesome.
Ball 1 to Jeimer Candelario. We saw 2 in Oakland. The very first inning in Oakland, Ohtani kind of fought his command, and then the first few innings in Seattle he did.
His 3 starts in a row, he's allowed the leadoff batter to reach. Doesn't get a ton of ground balls, doesn't get a ton of double plays, but has 1 turn behind him this year.
Finds the zone with a couple of low strikes on the sweeper. He's ahead of Jeimer Candelario, switch hitter batting left here in the top of the first. There's a swing and a miss, and the first strikeout at Angel Stadium this year for Shohei Ohtani.
It's that sweeper again for Shohei. This with a little more depth to it. Especially when you know as a hitter, you got to deal with the splitter possibility, and he does throw a lot of splitters with two strike. This time he goes with the sweeper and gets a swing and miss.
That gives him 90 strikeouts on sweepers since the beginning of last season, 30 more than anybody else. Here's Dominic Smith. Former New York Met. Went to go say hi to Dom in the clubhouse earlier today. He's sound asleep. Got a towel over his head. Just sleep like that for at least a half hour. High fly off the bat of Dominic Smith. Pretty deep toward the right field corner. Renfroe able to catch it right in front of the wall. Renfroe sizing it up as he neared the fence in right field onto the warning track to handle that long fly from Dominic Smith.
Yeah, off the bat, it was hit pretty well by Smith, but you could tell by the way Hunter Renfroe was going after. He had a good line to run that one down. Knew he had some space in front of the wall. Able to catch it and already spinning around and throwing a second, because we saw how well and aggressive the Nationals were running the bases, just in case he would tag up on that one.
Two outs. Joey Meneses at the plate.
Sinker first pitch.
Remember in the World Baseball Classic, Mexico and Japan locked up in a great semifinal. Ohtani didn't pitch in that game, but he was opposite of Meneses, who was on the Mexican team.
It's a pretty good pitch. Maybe just a little below the strike zone.
That one hits the strike zone. Called by crew chief and home plate umpire Alfonso Marquez.
Very consistent home plate umpire.
Time was called, I believe, at home plate by Ohapi. Tried the front door with that pitch, and he wanted it. It was called ball 3.
Yeah, just a little bit off the inside corner. Nice job by Logan Ohapi trying to bring that in there close enough.
Pretty much all sweepers here to Meneses, and now a full count. 18 pitches, 12 have been that sweeper from Shohei. He is stuck with it, leaned on it.
Might throw that little harder sweeper here now with a 3-2 count.
Runner will go from first. That's Alex Call over there. And the pitch is ball 4 to Meneses. So 2 walks in the inning. And as we saw against the Mariners in his last start, he's just going to throw that sweeper until he finds what he wants from it.
And that's a pretty good take on a 3-2 pitch. Because that was close enough where you think you have to protect.
You think at some point teams will be expecting it because he's throwing it so much?
Once he establishes it enough in the strike zone, we saw that eventually as the game went on in Seattle.
Hit hard by Ruiz to first. Jake Lamb will take care of that. 2 walks, but a scoreless top of the first for Shohei Ohtani.
Let's take a look at how he's gotten him a StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud. 7 with a sweeper, 6 with a splitter, 4 with his 4-seam fastball, 1 strikeout with his curveball. The 4-seam fastball been pretty close in zone, but those other pitches out of the strike zone getting some chases. But that sweeper very, very good so far with 7, including 1 here tonight on his sweeper. So 8 strikeouts of the 19 so far this season on his sweeper by Shohei Ohtani.
Leading off the second for the Nationals, Lane Thomas, followed by Abrams and Chavis toward the bottom of the order. Thomas came over from the Cardinals in 2021 when John Lester was traded to St. Louis near the end of that season. One of many trades the Nationals have made over the last couple of years.
So he's still shaking his head a little bit too. I think Gray got one of those pitches, but that was a ball off the plate inside.
Three balls and no strikes. Not even close on 3-0. So third walk already from Ohtani. Remember in that outing against the Mariners, he was uncharacteristically wild in that as well. Walked 4 in that game. Plus he hit 2 batters in 1 inning. Only gave up a run on 3 hits though.
Remember, he just made that last out. Had to go out there. They will give him a little extra time when he takes the mound after making the final out, or if he's on the bases.
He was in the lineup last night. Could very well be in there again tomorrow. A day game tomorrow. Phil Nevin left open the possibility that if there's a day to give Ohtani off, tomorrow would be a good candidate. But really, it's up to Shohei. If he feels like he can be in the lineup tomorrow, then he will be.
One thing's for sure, you can never ask Shohei Ohtani if you want to play the next day. He's going to say yes.
They trust him to be ready and get himself prepared for whatever comes next, whether it's his at-bats or his pitching. C.J. Abrams bites on the slider, and Shohei Ohtani has his second strikeout.
A little bit different as far as the break on this. This is more vertical break on a slider as compared to the horizontal break you're going to see on his sweeper. So when you hear us at home, we're talking about the difference between a sweeper and slide. That's a pretty good example of it right there.
Now Michael Chavis stands in. And the Nationals don't strike out a lot. We saw that yesterday. Just putting the bat on the ball can do wonders. Washington is 3rd in the major leagues in hits as a team, and they have struck out the 3rd fewest in the National League, 5th fewest in all of baseball.
You would think they're going to try, especially against Shohei. Don't get many opportunities to score runs. He might have the hit and run or steals going against it, although he's very difficult to steal against. Only allowed 7 stolen bases in 11 attempts in his career here.
Thomas runs well at first. Chavis a liner to Rendon. He thought about heaving it across the diamond, but hangs on to it as Thomas was able to get back quickly. So 2 outs. See, that's why the Nationals just want to hit it soft.
Yeah, exactly.
What good is it hitting a hard line drive right at Rendon?
Especially they know him all too well that that's a pretty good chance that's going to be gobbled up at third base with Anthony Rendon.
Yeah, I don't know how well they know Rendon. I mean, the Washington Nationals certainly do. Mike Rizzo, the GM, and Davey Martinez, the manager. But I don't know how well the players do. Maybe Victor Robles does. One of the few that's actually played with Rendon on the Nationals as he swings through a fastball. Robles, Corbin, that's it. And more people not on the field around from the 2019 Nationals.
It's pretty amazing. That's the first fastball through first pitch, and that's the kind of swing and chase you're going to get with your sweeper if you do throw some fastballs.
Robles looked confused there, so Ohtani's got him set up. No balls and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss for strike 3. 3rd strikeout of the night, 2 in the inning. Shohei Ohtani finding his groove as we go to the bottom of the 2nd in a scoreless game after Ohtani punches out Victor Robles. Anderson, one of the greatest Angels of all time. Now you get to booth view up here. It looks pretty easy from up here, doesn't it?
It looks real easy.
Unless you're a hitter trying to deal with Shohei Ohtani, huh?
Full. Have your hands full all night.
Alex Call leading off the 3rd against Ohtani. And we saw Rengifo strike out in the 2nd. Kind of an inconsistent strike zone, it seems like, from Alfonso Marquez early on. Rendon was in at 3rd, but still able to handle that and retire Alex Call.
A little side by side of Logan O'Hoppe and Alex Call. What do you think? Hey, twins too? We always talk about Trout and Hunter Renfroe. These are they're pretty close right here as far as twins. Well, it's good to get that quick out against him too when he's swinging the bat.
Leadoff man down. Jeimer Candelario stands in. What would be your approach against Shohei?
I was talking about on the pregame show is that he doesn't have any patterns or whatnot. I mean, like tonight, he started off throwing off a bunch of sliders. So it's pretty much an in-game adjustment I would have to take on him.
As a hitter, GA, when you have an umpire it's kind of all over the place as far as the strike zone, how does that change your approach to swinging the bat? Does it do it at all?
It does change it. When there's nobody on base, it doesn't really matter. But when there's runners in scoring position, it puts a lot of pressure on you because you may have to venture. You know, I was a run producer, so it would force you to venture outside the zone a little bit more than you want to.
Shohei's been upset a little bit. A few of these borderline pitches. He's like, I've seen some of our guys being called on these pitches. Where are those pitches for me?
Candelario struck out his first time. This time it's a high fly to pretty deep right, but Renfroe, as he backs up, gets to it. And there's 2 up, 2 down here in the third.
Good idea now, especially with GA in the booth here. We're taking a look at the difference between his sweeper, see that break, and his slider. How you're going to have more horizontal break as compared to the slide that's straight down. So when you look at the different numbers as far as velocity, very similar as far as velocity of the 2 pitches, but the spin rate is pretty significant in the vertical break as compared to the horizontal break. Now, dealing with that, GA, as far as slider, sweeper, what would be the better option for you as a left-handed batter against Shohei? What would you rather have, the vertical or the horizontal break to you?
It doesn't, for me, watching both of those, it doesn't really matter. My whole thing is I would try to stay inside the baseball. You know, obviously it's a different in speed, but my eyes would always try to stay inside the baseball, so it'd make it a little easier to put in play.
Dominic Smith at the plate now against Ohtani. Smith flied out to right his first time. And the pitcher is starting to throw as we see another one.
That's another strike. It's in there, not called.
In the neighborhood for Ohtani, and it seems like the strike zone's been kind of wayward here early on for Marquez.
Shohei might have that quick conversation walking off the mound and say, hey, where are those couple of those fastballs and a couple of those breaking balls at? They look like they're strikes.
3 balls, 1 strike on Dominic Smith. The bouncer right back to the mound. Ohtani will field his position. He'll involve Jake Lamb. Why not? 1, 2, 3 inning for Shohei. He's as good as it gets. Lowest home ERA since World War II. Ohtani, the second best in the major league since then. Jacob deGrom, who was unreal at Citi Field. Kershaw at Dodger Stadium. Shohei here at the Big A. Nearly unhittable. Jose Fernandez, the late Jose Fernandez, and the electricity he brought to Marlins home games. But here in Anaheim, it's showtime. And it's Shohei Ohtani on the mound. 2 or fewer earned runs in the large majority of his career home starts. He has yet to give up a hit through the first 3 innings today. He has 3 strikeouts. And Joey Meneses will lead off the top of the 4th.
That's really remarkable. 31 of 33 starts, 2 or fewer runs allowed here. Wow.
And there's that sweeper, and there's a strike. Ohtani had a 1.82 ERA at home last year. Made 14 starts at the Big A. 1.95 ERA in 2021. Meneses an inside-out swing. Lamb gobbles it up. And there's 1 down here in the 4th.
And that's the type of swing you're going to get when you haven't seen a lot of fastballs. That's his sinker. That's like we talked about in the pregame show. The first game out, never threw a sinker. And if you threw a few more in Seattle, that one's devastating with that movement.
Yeah, I don't know how he does that, man.
That brings up Keibert Ruiz, a switch hitter who's better from the left side. Up here with one of the great left-handed hitters of his era, Garrett Anderson, joining us in the booth for a couple innings here tonight. Could you name off the top of your head the pitchers you were the best against?
Andy Pettit.
I was just
hit over 400, I believe.
Against Andy Pettit?
He couldn't run anything in on me.
Wow.
He was a cutter. He just killed righty, so he could never get inside on me.
Wow.
You had 400 off David Wells too.
Yeah, I could see that. No, he loved throwing his fastball. He didn't care. He's one of those guys that I'm gonna just come right at you. And fortunately, I'm not the typical left-handed hitter that hits the low ball. He was up in the zone, so I didn't have a problem handling him at all.
I mean, that's two really, really good left-handed pitchers that you had success against.
Generally, left-handed starters get righties out. That's why they're able to start. But, yeah, those guys are tough to hit, but that just matched up well with them.
Yeah, wow.
So the top 5 guys you had the most hits off of were all left-handed. Moyer, Pettit, Kenny Rogers, David Wells, Barry Zito.
Kenny Rogers, I could see. I wouldn't believe.
That's a great pitch.
But the other guys, yes, I do remember, especially Jamie. It got to the point where he told one of his teammates he wanted to hit me because he couldn't get me out.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. You had the most homers off Moyer and Tim Wakefield. You had 5.
Yes. I got some information on. We had a knuckleballer on our team, and I remember the night before he pitched, I asked. His name is Dennis Springer, and I said, "Hey, what do you do with a knuckleballer?" He said, "Just crowd the plate, stand on." He said, "We throw to a zone." He said, "Get on top of the plate and just turn and burn." And I just had success off of him.
But it's usually you'll see if you were a switch hitter, you would always seem that they would bat right-handed against a knuckleball because it would mess up your swing. They would always say.
I kind of looked at it as a night off. Like, forget your swing, just try to have fun hitting this ball.
Keibert Ruiz draws a walk. 4th walk issued by Ohtani tonight. Now ball 1 to Lane Thomas. You were 2 for 7 off the guy next to you over there.
I still remember the one ground ball single you had against me. I convinced Bob Boom to let me in the game. I said, I'm going to get a ground ball, and hit a ground ball hit. Took a CG away from me, GA. not that I'm still mad about it or anything like that.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Things never go to die.
No. Oh, I finally worked our manager that time, Bob Boone. I said, I guarantee you I'm getting a ground ball. He goes, all right, you're staying in there. And I got a ground ball, and he goes, well, yeah, way to go. You make me look bad.
There's a ground ball foul past Rendon, who's playing closely at 3rd. Now with 2 strikes, we'll see if Rendon backs up a bit. Thomas lays off the sweeper. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Is that what you would do if you see that break, you see the spin, you're not going to hit it, you just got to let it go?
Yeah,
is it easy to be able to do that as a hitter, though?
Depends on how you're seeing it. You know, sometimes the ball looks like a beach ball up there, and then sometimes it looks like an Aspirington out there.
There's strike 3 called. The sweeper hits the front door this time. Strikeout number 4 for Ohtani tonight.
This is not necessarily by design. You see how he got underneath that baseball. That's how you're getting that more of that vertical, horizontal break on the sweeper. On top of the baseball more, that's when that slider's a sharper, quicker break.
It's the 2nd best pitch in baseball, the backup slider.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Abrams, a liner past Lamb down the right field line. That's the first hit for Washington. Renfroe able to cut it off. Holding at 3rd is Ruiz. Good job by Renfroe to keep that ball from bouncing around the wall, or maybe Ruiz would have scored.
Got a little bit more of the plate here. It's another one of those sweepers that stayed at the plate, is able to stay back on. That's a pretty good swing by Abrams. It's a nice play by Renfroe cutting that off. The way they've been running the bases, that's going to go all the way to the wall. And this is where Shohei, though, he goes next level now with runners in scoring position.
First threat from the Nationals tonight. It comes with 2 outs here in the 4th. Michael Chavis hit the ball hard his first time. Good swing on that
99.
99.
Yeah.
Just in case you forgot.
And that's when Shohei finds what's deep in the tank. And he just unleashed his hardest fastball of the night on Michael Chavis. There's another one at 99 that missed away. 164 the batting average last year in this spot. Best in the major leagues. Really historically good when it comes to slugging percentage with runners in scoring position, both at the plate and on the mound. Ground ball to short. Urshela's got it. gets it to first in time to retire Chavis. Shohei Ohtani wiggles out of some trouble in the top of the fourth. He bats third in the bottom of the fourth. A scoreless game. Ohtani contributing to the Angels taking the lead in the bottom of the fourth. Had a base hit to load the bases. A sacrifice fly from Rendon gave the Angels a run, but Hunter Renfroe hit into a double play. Still, Ohtani now works with the lead for the first time tonight. As we get to the top of the fifth inning, thank Garrett Anderson for joining us here in the booth.
So good. Knows the game so well. Just the way he hits. Position himself defensively. By the way, Hunter Renfroe hit that ball 108 miles per hour.
A lot of hard hit outs for the Angels in this series and this season so far. Victor Robles leads off the fifth against Ohtani.
That looked like it was fouled.
Now Robles spinning away from that pitch, and it's been ruled a hit by pitch. As Robles, with his great speed, will be on first to start the inning.
Yeah, got him right in the arm and Logan O'Hoppe.
So Robles is able to turn around and into it at the same time, so he's on base.
Sometimes if you keep that bat out there, even if you get hit by the pitch, it would still be considered a strike, but he brought the bat back in time to again to be a hit by pitch. I thought this is going to be a big inning for Shohei. It's been a battle for him. Didn't get quite the run support he was hoping for in that half inning.
Ball one to Alex Call, who walked earlier. And Garrett Anderson, his personality as a ball player, a guy who was just the same every day. He was at the ballpark, in the lineup every day. Kind of like, Scioscia had that reputation too, where it was just a calm, cool demeanor, just flat every day. And they say in baseball, that's the way that you really should approach 162 games in 6 months.
162 games, so many games played. But Mike Scioscia knew he could put his name in there every day.
And he did. Garrett Anderson had a wonderful career with the Halos, and we're happy to have him as part of our group with Bally Sports West and in the booth for the last couple of innings here tonight. And he's still got that same cool demeanor.
Yes. And it's great when you see a player as good as Garrett Anderson was in all of what he's seeing from Shohei Ohtani, though. Just our conversations, whether on air or even away from the booth, is like he's never seen anything like it. And he's witnessed a lot of tremendous players throughout his career.
Call with a fly ball. Mike Trout ranges over and makes the play to retire the Washington leadoff batter. Robles goes back to first. And for what it's worth, expected batting average, whatever that means really, compared to what the batting average was for the Nationals last night. Washington had 350 as a team, despite nothing getting past an outfielder yesterday. Everything was in front of the outfield or in front of the infield. When you have those balls hit a certain speed at a certain trajectory, they're expected to be caught. Here's one expected to be handled by Rengifo, who shovels it to second for one. And that's all the Angels get. Candelario reaches first on a fielder's choice.
Yeah, tough play to be able to turn a double play on. You just want to get that lead runner, especially with Robles' speed. You want to get him out.
Now Dominic Smith is the batter. Smith off to a nice start for the Washington Nationals, getting a chance to play every day. Lost his playing time when Pete Alonso got to the big leagues with the Mets. And there's a first pitch breaking ball strike on the sweeper from Ohtani. Smith, a great defender at first base, makes a lot of contact. There's a fastball at 97, bottom of the zone, outer third. It's tough to do much with that.
Hasn't thrown a splitter yet. This might be a time to try that splitter.
Smith calls timeout.
He's had a few of them, but he hasn't thrown a lot of those ones where you think you can get a swing and miss with. When you don't throw a lot of them, you're going to have a couple of those like that in the dirt, straight in the dirt. But he makes that quick adjustment. I would not be surprised if he comes right back to it, because he knows exactly what he did wrong on that delivery and makes a quick adjustment.
See him blowing into his hand a little bit. It's not a terribly warm night tonight. A little cool. Still better than it is most places on April 11th. Runner going, and a soft bouncer from Dominic Smith. Lamb with the backhand leads Ohtani over to the bag. It's 5 shutout innings, only 1 hit allowed for Shohei tonight, and a 1-0 lead. The Big 8 is 1-0 Angels. Only 2 hits for the Halos, just 1 for Washington. A couple of good starting pitchers out there tonight. Ohtani has been sharp. Josiah Gray's been really good. Now Joey Meneses will lead off the 6th against Ohtani.
Wow, 2-seam fastball. Look at that movement he has on that one.
73 pitches. Remember, he threw 111 his last time. If he gets back up to that pitch count again tonight, figure he's got at least 2 more innings in him.
It's been a battle here again, just like he had that battle up in Seattle, but he got in cruise control in that 6th inning. See, he punched out the sides. Oh, he's starting already.
There's strikeout number 5. It's Joey Meneses cutting through the sweeper from Ohtani.
So sinker, both inside, then the sweeper away. That might be his best sweeper of the night. That was solid. Shoulder in, on top of that one, great break to it.
That brings up Keibert Ruiz, one of the harder members of the Nationals to strike out. Walked his last time. Ohtani pumps in a strike to start this at bat. The 2-seamer again. Ruiz only struck out 50 times all of last year. Switch hitting catcher, and he was given a contract extension going into this year. 8-year deal for Keibert Ruiz, worth about $50 million. Buying out some of the arbitration years and free agency.
Ooh, grunt, 98-mile-an-hour 4-seam fastball.
Ruiz got the first pre-arbitration contract extension the Nationals have ever given out. They think highly of Keibert Ruiz. Swing and a miss. What a nasty pitch. Filthy from Ohtani on the curve.
Yeah, he just said, I'm going to throw a curveball right now. It's 73 miles an hour after fastballs and sweepers, and then I throw a 73-mile-an-hour curveball. Like, how do you have that feel for that pitch when you haven't thrown it a whole lot? I guess that's why he is the unicorn.
There's one special dude right there. Here's Lane Thomas. Ohtani thought that pitch was good enough.
And that strike zone has been a tough one for Shohei today.
Six or more strikeouts and 8 straight for Ohtani, longest streak in the majors. Here's a fly ball to left center. It hangs up. Taylor Ward is there. Good inning for Shohei Ohtani. 2 strikeouts as part of a 1-2-3, top of the 6th.
Here we're talking a lot about that sweeper. He threw a great one to Julio Rodriguez. So it just starts the middle part of the plate, goes off the outside corner. Then this sweeper backs up and gets the inside part. You can see the separation of the location of that sweeper. And then tonight, best one he threw last half inning. outside part of play. Looked like a strike and got a chase after 2 fastballs in. Sinkers in, set up that sweeper away.
Now in the top of the 7th, Shohei Ohtani with a 1-hit shutout takes them out against C.J. Abrams. It's the 83rd pitch thrown by Ohtani tonight. See how much further the Angels extend him. 111 pitches his last start. Abrams with a liner to left. Taylor Ward moves over to get to it. 1 away here in the top of the 7th. Stay tuned to the middle of the 7th inning for our Arco game break with Erica Weston and Garrett Anderson. It's kind of our version of the 7th inning stretch. They should sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
That would be great.
That would be. Chavis whiffs on what they called a slider, but it certainly looked like the curveball.
Especially that speed of it. I mean, he's throwing different speeds of his slider, his sweeper, his curveball.
Got 2 strikes now on Chavis, who grounded out to short his last time. Chavis struck out a lot last year, 126 times for the Pirates, only walked 19 times. He was whiffing quite a bit in a year where he had a pretty low on base percentage, 265 last year. He needs to think about it now. Big deep breath.
Yeah, he threw him a cutter that pitch.
And here it is on 0-2 to Chavis, and he lays off the sweeper in the dirt.
Remember, Chavis hit a pretty good shot early on his first at bat, a line drive to Anthony Rendon at third.
Chavis tried to hold his swing, and he did. Boy.
I don't think he did on that one either.
Doug Eddings, the first base umpire.
Wow, he definitely went on that one. That's almost a full swing at it.
Try again. And Chavis spoils another. The 2-2. Ohtani overthrows the fastball a bit, and it's a full count now. It looked like Chavis was struck out, but a check swing call went Chavis's way, and now he's worked into a full count. The 3-2. Another check swing. The Angels won't even bother looking to first this time.
I mean, that definitely was a full swing at it. Shohei love to get a ground ball at an infielder right now.
Here's the ground ball right to Rengifo. It starts an inning-ending double play. Shohei Ohtani's got a 1-hit shutout through 7. Right now it's time for our Arco game break with Erica Weston. Bounced up the middle, handled by Urshela. Steps on second, say goodnight to the Nationals. The Angels get a victory. A 1-hit shutout combined by Shohei Ohtani, José Quijada, and Carlos Estevez. 2-0 the final here at Angel Stadium. Gooby, Ohtani deserved a win tonight. He was fabulous, and he gets one.
Yeah, his creativity on the mound was outstanding, and you see that reaction by Anthony Rendon. But Shohei Ohtani, he's been incredible. Our Toyota player of the game. 7 scoreless innings, 1 hit. He also had hit himself. 6 strikeouts. Shohei Ohtani picking up the W. Now 2-0 on the season. Logan O'Hoppe, great job behind the plate, also with a home run. Congrats to Carlos Estevez picking up the save, his first as a Halo today.
Angels win 2-0.